Greetings once again, you Sonic heroes out there. Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with IDW Sonic the Hedgehog. Previously, Sonic, Tails, Amy, Silver, Blaze, Team Dark, and the newly formed Diamond Cutters did their best to take down Eggman's Eggperial City, with Shadow unleashing so much chaos control because of fake artificial emerald Eggman was using on his ever-expanding city. Destruction ensued, Eggman was defeated, the day was saved, and our heroes partied. And during said party, Rouge mistakenly showed off an echidna relic that she had stolen from Eggman's stash. Amy, realizing what it was, demanded Rouge hand it over so that she might return it to Knuckles. And from this cover, I can tell that that is the crux of this issue. Amy's adventure on Angel Island. And time of recording, I'm waiting on the release of Sonic Superstars, which has a classic playable Amy Rose, as well as the DLC for Sonic Frontiers, which will also have a playable Amy Rose. Yes, Sega's finally got it in their head to start pushing their major female character. So let's see if this latest issue, again time of recording, gives Amy more of the justice and attention she has deserved for so long, shall we? I love this cover of Knuckles and Amy racing through. This is Marble Garden Zone, right? It's just nice to see a team up between the powerhouses in red. Alright, we have a story by Ian Flynn, art by Thomas Roethlisberger, or is it Roethlisberger? Oh, colors by Leonardo Ito. I'm not used to that. Where's Reggie? Where's my boy Reggie? Oh well, letters by Sean Lee and editors Riley Farmer and David Media. Yeah, Reggie did the colors on the cover. Maybe they got him working on something else. We got that big special coming up. Again, time of recording. Oh, I did not realize Clutch and Mimic were gonna be in this story. What is this story? Well, Ian's involved, so it's sowing the seeds for something, or being a payoff to something. Our main character is a lot smaller roster than the previous issue. That issue was jam-packed with characters. So we have Amy Rose, hammer-swinging heroine and restoration ally, Knuckles the Echidna, guardian of the Master Emerald, and Angel Island protector, Clutch the Possum, seedy businessman, an egg tech hoarder, and Mimic the Octopus, expert infiltrator and ex-diamond cutter. Whoa, nice. Nice use of Sonic as Sega All-Stars Racing transformed with Amy's car flying. Man, Amy really is the team mom because she ends up being the one driving people or herself to specific places. It also really explains how she got around previously. You just retcon it into her always having a car. Alright, we have Amy flying up to Angel Island, overlooking its lush beauty of flora and mountainscape. Amy thinks, oh wow, I don't think I'll ever get tired of seeing Angel Island. It's so beautiful. Unfortunately, the landing isn't as great, as she does end up bumping into a tree. As she says, I should have kept flying. And as Amy makes her way to the Master Emerald Shrine with a bedroll, she must have that relic wrapped in it. Keep it safe. That's smart. She peers at the Master Emerald saying, huh, Knuckles isn't guarding the Master Emerald? I guess he's on patrol then. Amy then makes her way through the islands, thinking to herself, it's such a pity I only ever visit when there's some kind of crisis. It's so lush and pristine. I can understand why Knuckles wouldn't want to leave. Something this precious needs to be protected. Plus, who would want to leave Para? Yikes! And suddenly the ground just gives way under Amy. Watch out, Amy. You're about to find yourself in Hydra City. Hydra City? Oh god, I'm not getting into that. Move on, move on. And Amy finds herself plummeting into a city full of water, saying to herself, this would be so much cooler if I weren't in danger. I'm in danger. But as if on cue, in comes Knuckles flying in to save her. She shouts, Knuckles! And Knuckles simply says, Amy. She tells him, thanks for the save. Knuckles tells her, sure. Why are you falling through the ceiling? She tells them, I came looking for you. You weren't in front of the Master Emerald for once. Knuckles tells her, I make a habit of patrolling my island for threat. Amy sighs, saying, yeah, well, you could stand to check the ground stability too. Knuckles sets her down on a nearby plateau, saying, So why are you here? Ah, Knuckles. Always nothing but business. Amy says, I brought something for you. And she unveils the echidna relic. Isn't that one of those things you would usually use to, like, what was it? You'd set it on something and it would create different pathways in, well, it was the Mystic Ruins, right? From Sonic Adventure. Knuckles immediately is flabbergasted by the relic, saying, this is echidna made. Where did you find it? I love Amy's cheeky smile in the back. Amy recounts, was with a bunch of other stolen goods in Eggman's latest eye store. I thought it should be returned to its rightful place. I'm happy I could bring it home. We have a very interesting moment where Knuckles puts his head to the echidna relic, and Knuckles, looking happier than I'm used to seeing him, says, thank you, Amy. I really appreciate this. I don't normally do this, but since you did this for me, would you like to return it to its proper place with me? Amy says excitedly, oh my gosh, yes, let's go! She then questions, you already know where it goes? Knuckles says, I'm pretty sure. See, the color of the stone and the carving style. I've seen this style in both the Mystic Ruins jungle and Marble Garden. Oh, that's one thing I'm glad Ian has been trying to push, that some of the architecture and certain things and areas actually do have correlation to echidna architecture and stuff. I mean, me personally, I say, why have it constantly be something new? Make connections to deepen the world, you know? At least that's how I see it. Amy gives the relic a long glance like, yeah, I don't see it. She sheepishly says, you're the expert, I'll trust you on this. Knuckles says, at the very least, we're heading to the surface. Follow me, and watch your step. I don't want any more holes in the floor. Amy gets a bit huffy, saying, oof, how about you do some maintenance on your own island then? Hey, it's a natural way of things. Whoa. Huh, this looks like an Eggman base that's been taken over by Clutch? Interesting. You pick up at Clean Sweep Inc. You see Clutch at a control panel, and a worker comes running up saying, excuse me, Mr. Clutch, you got a moment? Clutch says, normally I insist my staff and clients adhere to my schedule, but I do make exceptions for the exceptional, Mimic. Mimic shifts out of his disguise saying, so you do pay attention to your security cameras. Man, Clutch is tall. Clutch says, ah, you were testing me, even after I went to the great lengths to contact you. You're not an easy person to find, you know. Mimic says, that's on purpose, but you did so anyway, which got my attention. This is an interesting pairing. Mimic narrows his eyes at Clutch, saying, you're not affiliated with Sonic's friends or with Dr. Eggman. I'll admit, I'm curious. What do you want? Clutch says openly, I'm a businessman on the cusp of an aggressive venture. Clean Sweep Inc. in my way of getting into places others cannot. We clean up all those nasty robots and weapons Dr. Eggman leaves behind in his conquest. Makes a lot of sense. Very Clutch way of doing things. And quietly amass resources and arsenal beyond comprehension. Mimic smiles a wry smile, saying, and everyone thanks you for it. Nice scam. Mimic then pulls out a chilled bottle, already open, of Perfect Chaos Cola, premium label. A good way of getting around alcohol, you know? He pulls out the bottle and 2 glasses filled with ice, saying, our biggest competition is the Restoration. They do everything we do, but for free, and dispose of the dangerous material. Such a waste of good egg tech. He pours the cola into the 2 glasses, handing one over to Mimic, saying, as I said, I have plans for an aggressive business venture, which involves curbing the Restoration's wasteful efforts. To that end, I need a master infiltrator. Interested? Ah, corporate sabotage. Low risk, high reward. That's definitely up Mimic's alley. Mimic takes a bit of a pass on the drink, saying, tempting, but I've been keeping a low profile since breaking out of jail. Going into the heart of the enemy is asking for trouble. Clutch says, fair enough. Although, he takes a sip of the cola. He then peers around to Mimic, saying, I've done my research. I know of your vendetta against a certain pair, Tangle and Whisper, yes? Were you aware that they are part of the Restoration's new vanguard? They're calling themselves the Diamond Cutters, no less. Man, news travels fast. And the look Mimic has. Like, they're calling themselves the what? Of all the gall? It's just a face like, oh, I'm not having any of that. So he actually takes the drink from from Clutch now. And Mimic says, infiltrate the Diamond Cutters? You get a man on the inside. I get one step closer to revenge. You've got a deal. I keep wanting to call him Mimic. Clutch pulls Mimic in close and gives a bit of a toast as he tells Mimic, welcome to Clean Sweep Inc. I wonder, because Ian can be cheeky like that. Is the name Clean Sweep because they're trying to sweep up loose ends, or maybe just tie some stuff together? Because he tends to be a bit cheeky with how he phrases things. We then pick back up at Marble Garden on Angel Island as Knuckles is opening a hatch to the surface as he says, here we go. Amy climbs out handing the relic to Knuckles and she says, you didn't make a single detour the whole way. You really know your way around the island. Knuckles takes the relic saying, I spent my whole life here, and I have a lot of time on my hands. There's suddenly an earthquake that almost knocks Amy off of her feet, though Knuckles, I love how he just kinda grabs her. The nuances of this comic are actually really fun. Something that I love in terms of both art and animation are the little minute moments you see going on that an artist can add, but they don't need to always add, giving a little bit more personality to a scene. Like in this moment where Amy's unsteady, but Knuckles is unshaking, just immediately grabs her to make sure she's steady, but is still alert as he looks around to make sure nothing's coming their way. It's the little things, you know? Amy then panics a little, saying, okay, that one wasn't my fault. But Knuckles tells her, nah, this whole region's pretty unstable. Ruins are getting buried and unearthed all the time, and all of Eggman's digging around never helped. Amy says, oh yeah, Sonic and Tails told me he was still being a pain. Yeah, that was in the Free Comic Day issue. Did I talk about that? I don't think I talked about that. I don't remember talking about that. Regardless, it was a short miniature storyline where Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were exploring some weird goings on Angel Island, only to just discover Eggman, who was just digging around for his next big world domination device. Amy tells him, you know, I'm sure Jewel would be happy to send some folks from the Restoration to help keep watch. Knuckles questions, who is Jewel again? Amy says, Tangle's bestie. She took over administrating the Restoration from me. Took over, more along the lines of kind of got forced into the job. Knuckles gives a bit of a dismissive look, saying, ah, right, hard pass, as he walks away. Amy gets a little huffy, saying, why not? Angel Island is huge, and I don't like you here all by yourself. Oh, it's a little pulley thing. Knuckles uses the pulley to go up a steep slope as Amy grabs a hold of his arm and just rides on up. Knuckles explains, because I'd have to keep an eye on all of them. And the island. That just makes things complicated. Amy says, but they'd be trustworthy. Knuckles tells her, I trust you and about 5 others max. Amy, Tails, Sonic? I'll go with Sonic. Cream? Maybe? Silver and Blaze. Yeah, that feels about right. Because I feel like Knuckles doesn't really know Tangle and Whisper like that. And he doesn't really know the chaotics like that in this continuity either, which is always such a bummer. I'm so used to the deep friendship they had back in the Archie comics. It's the pre-reboot Archie comic. I love the landing where Amy does a little bit of a flip when they reach the top. She then cheekily says, aw, you trust me? Knuckles says, yeah. But Amy's not letting it go, saying, nope. You said it out loud. I'll remember that. So that means you'd trust me to pick up the slack when you just ended the resistance on a whim. Knuckles kinda shrinks back from that, saying, would it be a compliment or rude if I said yes? Amy gives him a tap on the shoulder, saying, relax, I was happy to help everyone else. I just wish I'd had a little more time to prep, you know? Knuckles says, sure, it's late now, but sorry. Amy tells him, you saved me from falling to my doom. We're even. That is actually a good point. They were co-leads in the Resistance. Man, Sonic Forces was kind of weird how they organized everything. They didn't reach a cavern, well, the entrance to one, as Amy says, oh, is this a place? Knuckles says, I think so. Amy's ready to head in, saying, then let's go. Before she can move in further, Knuckles stops her, saying, hold it. He peeks around the corner to a statue with 2 slots for idols, one already with one inside of the slot. Geez, that makes me think of Omak from the Hidden Temple. Knuckles peeks around the corner, saying, there's an active trap inside. I keep them working to stop thieves. I don't want to damage it unless I have to. Amy thinks to herself, destroying an ancient mechanism would kinda undercut the spirit of restoring the relic to its proper place. Knuckles says, yeah. Amy gets out her hammer, saying, I've got it. I'll cover you. Knuckles gets a little angry, saying, I just said. But Amy turns to him, saying, that you trust me. Right? Knuckles looks at the relic, then looks at her, saying, right, hey, there you go. I actually really like this moment between the two. Amy then rounds the corner, saying, then here we go. Readying her hammer, the trap is activated, several arrows fire out. Amy swings her mighty Pico hammer, swatting away all the arrows. Knuckles, realizing that she's doing what she said, covering him. Knuckles dives in, swings the relic into the slot, and the trap deactivates. Knuckles and Amy give each other a fist bump. One more last fist bump. Sorry. As Amy leans on her hammer, obviously a little tired from swinging so much, she says, aw, looks like it was just cranky about the missing relic. Knuckles says, I doubt that was it, but still, nice work. Amy says, thank you. And suddenly the ground collapses underneath them. And Amy says, oh, come on. But as they plummet, Amy, head down, just kind of crosses her arms like, okay, yeah, this might as well happen. And I love this moment where Amy and Knuckles give each other a smile as Amy takes Knuckles' hand, and as they fly through, Amy bats away the boulders that might, bludgeon them. Oh man, this is a really cute moment between these two. They make their way to a nearby opening to get away from all the falling debris, and Amy says, well, those relics should be extra safe now without a floor. Amy then turns to Knuckles saying, and you grew up like this? Knuckles peeks to see if the rocks have stopped falling, saying, maybe who I am today. Amy then takes Knuckles' hand. Man, I swear to God, this is gonna ignite some Knuckles-Amy shippers or give more fuel to the fire for those who are already around. Amy takes Knuckles' hands tenderly, saying, well, if you ever need a break, you're always welcome at the Restoration HQ. And Knuckles says, I know, I'll think about it. And Amy more enthusiastically takes Knuckles' hand, saying, please do. Jewel has things running like clockwork. It's very organized and peaceful these days. Knuckles doesn't give an answer, peeking back around the corner, seeing that the rocks have stopped, saying, and things seem to have settled down here. Come on, let's get topside again. Oh, for a second I thought the panel was Knuckles about to dig because it's vertical, but now I'm realizing he's climbing up the tunnel walls. It just threw me off because it just looks like he's going along the ground, but then you see the rocks still falling downward, and it kind of rights itself. Amy goes on to say, plus, you'd love the initiative Lanolin started. Knuckles says, who? Star-Lord. Who? Like all these darn IDW OCs. We then cut over to the Restoration HQ where the Diamond Cutters are hanging out. I love the image of Tangle sipping from a juice box with 3 straws attached to get to her mouth while her tail is playing some paddleball. And are those supposed to be wrappers for gum or for the straws? Meanwhile, Whisper is just sitting quietly drinking some coffee while Lanolin She's looking over some kind of reports and it looks like she's stressed. Feels like she has permanent bags under her eyes like, oh god, this job wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. She tells the team, our first mission out as the Diamond Cutters was technically a success. It was also nearly a disaster. We have a lot to work on. She then turns to Whisper asking, how did your old team organize itself? Whisper says, we were all volunteers. We just found one another. It wasn't formal until after we organized. Interesting. Tangle says, you thinking of recruiting? I mean, the Galax dude just fine with 3 members. Yeah, it's like, the 3-member thing seems to be a thing that goes around a lot. I wonder why. Lanolin approaches Tangle, obviously a little PO'd at the paddleball going, as she says, I'd like us to diversify our options. More personnel means more ideas, more skills, more... And then she grabs the paddleball out of Tangle's tail saying, more options if there are multiple crises. Tangle then sulks saying, you could have said something first. Lanolin, local buzzkill. An unknown figure with very familiar colors then knocks on the door and enters saying, hello? Sorry, am I interrupting? Lanolin turns asking, yes, but do you need assistance? Tangle turns and immediately says, hey, you want to join our team? Lanolin says, Tangle. The person says, yeah. Actually, yeah, that's why I'm here. I heard you were accepting volunteers and, well, I want to make a difference. I want to help our community. That seems to resonate with Lanolin. He then says, I want more adventure in my life. I want to make new friends and do amazing things together. That catches Tangle's attention. And then he says, don't get me wrong. I know what you do is dangerous work. I'll take it seriously and I hope to get strong enough to be someone you can rely on. And that catches Whisper's interest. Oh, Silver Tongue Devil. Tangle then says, pull up a chair, buddy. What's your name? And as she basically forces her tail to pull a chair up under his butt. And he says, whoa, I mean, Duo. Duo, huh? Lanolin says as she notes things down on her clipboard. Well, we appreciate everyone who wants to help out, Duo. But do you have any special skills, And just as Tangle's going for the paddleball, Lanolin just swats it with her freaking clipboard. Oh, man. You know, for a sheep, she sure is kind of prickly. She then goes about her business saying, any prior experience you could bring to the team? Duo says sheepishly, well, I guess I'm pretty nimble. I'm good with computers. Oh, I did use a Wishbone back during the war, although I guess most folks did too. I'm a fast learner with lots of spirit. I'm a fast learner with lots of spirit? Lanolin mulls things over going, Tangle chimes in saying, let's give him a shot. I didn't start busting badniks till I met Sonic, and that wasn't very long ago. I mean, yeah, he has a bit of a point. But looking for a more pragmatic response, Lanolin turns to Whisper, questioning her, and Whisper says, better to learn in times of peace. We all have to start somewhere. That is true. Learn in times of peace, that way you're ready when the war starts again. Lanolin says, good point. Plus, you wanted it to expand our ranks. Lanolin then shakes Duo's hand, saying, then we'd be happy to have you and see you to your training, Duo. On a trial basis for assessment, that is. Duo says excitedly, of course, thank you very much. I won't disappoint you. Lanolin then asks, do you already live around here? Are you willing to relocate? Duo sheepishly says, I kinda came out here to volunteer first. I didn't exactly think about where I'd be staying. Lanolin says, Tangle, you seem to be on his wavelength. Will you please help him find a place to stay? Tangle ushers Duo out the door saying, you got it, boss. Right this way, Duo. Duo gives the Lanolin and Whisper a wave saying, thanks again. And sure enough, new place. Duo's sitting on his bed saying, wow, and I can just have this? Tangle says, sure, the restoration has rooms for folks in need. Since you'll be sticking around, make yourself at home. As she goes to head out the door, she says, I'm going to grab some dinner. Want to come? Duo tells her, this has been a lot. I'm thinking I'm just going to relax for now. Tangle heads out saying, cool, see you later. And sure enough, once she's gone, Duo takes off his gloves. That's how you know something's up. As his body starts to shift, Mimic phones in to Clutch saying, It's me. I'm in. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I'm in. Good stuff, good stuff. I do wonder, do the two stories connect though? Now, both were actually pretty fun, all things considered. I love seeing Amy and Knuckles, actually kind of team up a little bit. I love seeing Tangle, Whisper, Lanolin, Clutch, Mimic, like, some really fun characters all in all. Seeing the new and ongoing relationship of the Diamond Cutters, I do find myself wondering if some people will think that Lanolin's being too mean to Tangle, while others might think she's not being mean enough. But Tangle does kind of need someone to keep her on target, because Whisper is, as Lanolin has said, a little too soft on Tangle for very obvious reasons to everyone who should be thinking. I love the corporate espionage though too. That's an interesting way of doing things. Essentially making Clutch an enemy to the Restoration. That's a good idea. I actually like that. It's funny too because Ian accidentally spoiled in one of his Bumblecasts that he was doing a story with Clutch. And yeah, the solicitation didn't actually say that Clutch was going to be in this story. And I know this will make me sound like such an Ian Flynn fanboy, which I am, so I can't really dispute it. But when Clutch was introduced, it was interesting but not too interesting. But with each subsequent appearance, he goes in more and more of an interesting direction. From a minor kind of entrepreneur, or whatever you want to call him, an enthusiast who was opposed to Rouge, Amy, and Cream, to being a little bit more of a threat when facing off against the Chaotix, and now this? I actually kind of like it. I was, though, hoping he would be a little bit more involved with Chaotix, because I did like where that story was going, but maybe we're building up to something with Clutch. I just hope he doesn't meet the same fate as Starline, because, while it was interesting to see a villain actually just offed, although I will say I still believe Starline could come back. I mean, we just had a very big storyline with Eggman. Taking a step away from the Big Egg Daddy, I'm not shook up about it. I will also admit that I like them doing A and B plot. I'm kind of realizing one of the things that could sometimes be a downside to Evan Stanley's writing is that sometimes we're just stuck on one primary thing that isn't always the most interesting. Or both the A and the B plots, aren't as dynamic as they could be. But even Ian sometimes has that problem plenty. But here, the Knuckles and Amy story and then the Mimic story, those weren't like two stories that seemed like they were gonna mesh. Maybe somewhere down the line? I don't know. Maybe we're doing the lead up to issue 75 kind of situation, and all the plot lines will just converge by the time we get there. But I'm definitely interested to see where this story goes. And more Diamond Cutters? Yes, please. And I do find myself still hoping that we maybe get a spin-off book, just like with Sonic Universe. The freedom to explore the greater Sonic world? Oh, please. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Which story were you most interested in? The A plot of Amy and Knuckles, or the B plot of Mimic and his infiltration? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.